Hello dear aspirants, welcome to GDC Class English. This is 𝙂𝙂𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙬𝙎. I welcome you all for the special video for the pharmacognosy subject. Especially it can help you as 60 to 70 questions comes from the GPAT, NIPER, DI and pharmacist examination, especially from the pharmacognosy subject. Yes. So when you look at the syllabus of pharmacognosy, mostly it contains 60 to 70 percentage, it contains drugs. Okay, so pharmacognosy of drugs is a very important part. From that we can expect lot of questions based on the names of the chemical constants, based on the synonyms, and especially based on the chemical constants names are very important, right? So do you ever feel there has to be an easy way to remember and to classify the chemical constants, because it is not easy to remember each and every drug, every chemical constant. But if you are struggling with that, this is the right video for you, because in this video we are going to simplify the nomenclature with the effortless clues which are hidden from the plant name itself. Okay, so I hope you're ready. Without getting delay, let's start our today's special video, that is nothing but mastering the chemical constants names in the pharmacognosy, because the name itself, it will give you the clue if you listen to my words and if you see these examples. Okay, so let's come and start this today's session. Okay, yes, suffixes as a clue where we classifying the natural products made simple. Now definitely by the end of this session you will feel very easy and simple to classify and to remember the chemical constants names. Okay, so yes, so obviously the chemical suffixes, obviously, yes. Before that, let me make it very simple. Plants, not only the plants, all living organisms are having a biological name, right? We know that biological name in the biological name, or binomial nomenclature, plants and the every living organism having a genus and species name. Even we do have a genus and species name. Homo sapiens, homo is a genus name and sapiens is a species name. Okay, like how plants have a genus and species name. Okay, so if you know the genus and species name, if you remember the biological name of the plant, and the game is very easy. It's like a cakewalk for you to remember the chemical constants name. Okay, so don't you believe? Let me show you a question. Firstly, let me start with a question. So yes, the first question: which of the following is an alkaloid? Now it's your turn to identify which one is alkaloid from the given options: catechin, eugenol, atropine, and diazinon. I know, because you are going to answer the right one, because this is this is a most common options I have mentioned in this, especially in this question. Okay, most familiar options I have mentioned. Yes, obviously, most of the students, not most of the students, all the students will pick this one, atropine, because atropa belladonna, deadly nightshade leaf, is an anti-muscarinic agent. It is an anti-muscarinic agent or anti-cholinergic agent, right? But we know that anti-muscarinic property will be possessed by the atropine or atropa belladonna. But so how can you identify it is an alkaloid? Because I told you before, the suffix is a clue. The name itself will be a clue. INE, atropine, INE will be nothing but a suffix for an alkaloid. Okay, so alkaloid, that's the way to remember, that's the way to identify. Where oil is a suffix for the volatile oils. Okay, and chain or catechin is a suffix for the which one? Tannins. Yes, you're right. Okay, good going. Xenin means either maybe a saponin glycoside, or a normal glycoside. Normal glycoside. So that's how we can easily identify the chemical constant name. Okay, so what type of chemical constant itself? Okay, so the suffixes, it will be the clue for you to remember, clue for you to identify. Now it is very easy, and now it will be simplified. Okay, so do not worry, I'm going to show you another examples in the upcoming slide. Okay, yes, so undoubtedly the right answer will be atropine. And now See here itself. So in the pharmacognosy, especially we are not only having alkaloids, we are not only having glycosides, we have a lot of secondary metabolites based on the chemical structure and nucleus. Okay, but I'll tell you all. Okay, I'll tell you about all the chemical concepts now. Okay, so how to identify whether it is alkaloid or glycoside? Okay, yes, let's start with alkaloid. Let's start with alkaloids. Alkaloids. Most of the alkaloids having these four suffixes: ine, iodine, amine, aline, and oline. But if you cross it correctly, every alkaloid ends with ine, 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 and ine. So ultimately, if it ends with ine, undoubtedly that is an alkaloid. Okay, so don't you believe? Let's take the example: morphine, ine; atropine, ine; quinine, ine; and nicotinics, ine. Okay, alkaloids, ine. Okay, and also iodine, IDINE. Okay, strychnidine and also cinchonidine. Ultimately, they ends with ine. You can check properly. INE stands for alkaloids. Okay, strychnidine, cinchonidine, and amine. In this also we do have INE. INE stands for alkaloid. Okay, so if it is having a suffix of INE, ultimately it is an alkaloid. There, how you can confirm it is an alkaloid. But what about the prefix? Okay, so if you properly check the prefix of the particular secondary metabolite or maybe chemical concepts, that will denote about either maybe acid name or maybe the plant name. Okay, so strychnidine, in which the prefix, okay, this part is a prefix and this part is a suffix. Okay, this part is the strychnine or maybe the prefix part will be the genus name of the plant. Don't you believe? Okay, this chemical is obtained from the 𝙂𝙖𝙎𝙎𝙬. The biological name of the 𝙂𝙖𝙎𝙬 is Strychnus 𝙂𝙖𝙎𝙬. In that, strychna is obtained from the genus name, and the iodine means chemical constant, whereas strychnine means obviously it is obtained from the genus name. And like how you can cross check everything. Cinchona means it is a genus name. Cinchonidine, IDINE. IDINE stands for alkaloid, which means it contains ine. So there how it will be very easy to identify alkaloid, right? So if it is having a ine as a suffix, ultimately it is an alkaloid, right? So now what about glycosides? Okay, the glycoside name itself, it will be giving you the clue, side. Okay, side itself. Okay, side, SID, side, glycoside. Okay, obviously if it is having a suffix of side, you can consider it as a glycoside. Maybe it is a saponin glycoside or maybe it is a glycoside. Even the saponin glycosides do contain side. Okay, SIDE. You can see the example, digitoxoside. Okay, stropanthoside, SIDE. It means it is nothing but a glycoside. And just coming to the iron. Iron sometimes stands for glycoside, because glycoside is considered into a divided into the glycoside itself. It is having a two parts. Okay, it contains two parts. One is a glycon moiety, another one is a glycon moiety. Glycon means sugar. Okay, sugar. The sugar is mostly having a O's as a suffix. Okay, so if it is having a OSC or O's as a suffix, that will be the sugar of glycoside. Okay, and yes, a glycon moiety is nothing but a non-sugar moiety. It is having a suffix of xenin or in or side. Okay, the glycoside has a therapeutically active part of the glycoside, that is a glycan or non-sugar moiety. It is known as a xenin. It ends with xenin or side Okay, or side. Clear itself. Okay, side means or in means or o side. These are the suffixes of glycoside. Okay, suffix of glycoside. Okay, you can see the examples here: digitoxoside, stropanthoside, yes; aloin, yes; salicin, yes; and barbalin is yes. And also oocyte. Oocyte means oocyte, stereoside, and senoside. Stereoside and senoside. So yes, so these are the examples. Now you can able to find out. Now you can able to easily pick the option for the glycoside, right? So now moving to the next other classification, that other examples for the secondary metals. Now coming to the flavonoids. Yes, obviously. Okay, if it is containing, so based on the sometimes the chemical concepts names has been classified based on the we are classifying based on the chemical nature as well. Okay, flavonoids in, okay, in, flavonoids, okay, the suffix will be in, quercetin, camphorol and luteolin, okay. So do not worry, do not worry. For some type of chemical concepts, the examples are very, very limited. So need not to worry. Okay, okay, yes. Flavonoids in and echin, and yes, O side. Ultimately, if it is having a okay glycolated part, when it is a glycosylated, ultimately sometimes it may ends with O side as well. Very, very rare example. Only one example. Quercetin. Okay, rutinoside. Obviously, we know already if it is ends with tin. Okay, if it ends with tin or in, if it ends with tin or in, ultimately we can consider it as a flavonoid. Okay, so that is about flavonoid example. Now moving to resin. See, most of the time resins are not having any type of special suffix, but sometimes they do have a same name, maybe resin as a suffix, or maybe sometimes in or resin. Very rare, very rare. But you need to remember one thing while you're understanding, while you in order to pick the example for the resin. Simple. You need to remember the classification. Okay, there are four types of classification of resins. Okay, oleoresins. Okay, oleoresins, gum resins. Okay, resin acids. Okay, resin acids, and as well as oleogum resins. Okay, oleogum resins, and lastly, okay, tolu balsam. Tolu balsam. These are the classification, but mostly resins are ends with resin acids like combiphoric acid. Okay, combiphoric acid, because the resins to contain acid. Okay, combiphora mole. Okay, combiphora vegetae. Okay, so these are Google. Okay, Google. These are the resins. Mostly they do contain combiphoric acids, resin acids they do contain. Like hope we can remember, but very, very only in not more than I think around 5 to 6 examples are there for resins. Okay, need not to worry. So they do not have any fixed suffix. You need to remember the drugs. Okay, photophyllatoxin. Okay, resin toxin. Iron. Okay, jalapresin I told you, right? Resin itself, resin, jalapresin, colophony. Okay, colophony. Yeah. Yes. So that is about resin. Now moving to the tannins. Tannins. It is very easy because tannins are of two types. One is hydrolyzable and the one is condensed tannins. Non-hydrolyzable or condensed tannins. Yes. When the tannins gets hydrolyzed, they give acids. They give their corresponding acids. That's the reason tannins are having IC acid. Okay. They ends with ic acid because they do have a acid itself. Ic acid, IC acid means obviously, okay, it is a tannin. A gallic acid and 𝙂𝙧ic acid. You can find IC acid, gallic acid and 𝙂𝙧ic acid. That is an example for hydrolyzable tannin as well. Yeah, there how you can remember. And condensed ends mostly ends with they ends with echin or iodine. These are nothing but the condensed ends. Catechin, catechin and epicatechin. Okay, they ends with chin. They ends with chin. CHIN means tannin. Catechin is example for tannin. Okay, catechin. If it ends with chin, CHIN, that is catechin means tannin is a example. Okay, it belongs to tannin. And now moving to the saponins. So I told you before already while discussing about glycosides, saponin glycosides also contain a glucose part. That's the reason mostly glycosides as well as saponins do have the same suffixes. Okay, do not get confused, but mostly we can able to identify. Okay, sapozenin and zenin. Okay, because aglycon moiety. Okay, the glycon moiety in the saponins will be in the saponins. The therapeutically active part is a glycan moiety. The therapeutically active part is a glycan moiety. That's the reason sapozenin, diozenin, hedrazenin, zenin is nothing but example for saponins. And side, obviously, glycoside form getoxide and digitoxoside. Okay, yes. Even though mostly glycosides sometimes they are going to adjoin. Okay, they are going to collab with the saponins. Okay, so obviously they do have the same suffixes. Clear? I hope you understand. Do not worry. And now moving to the terpenoids. See, so most of the terpenoids names are mostly ends with these two. Okay, ol and in, because terpenoids are obtained from one pathway, that is isopenoid pathway, which means isoprene. Okay, I hope you understand the link. Okay, isoprene. terpenoids are having the formula of C5H8 because it is a nucleus, it is a basic formula for isoprene units. Okay, from the isoprene only terpenoids are going to form. That's the reason in the isoprene we are taking the ene as a suffix, so that most of the terpenoids having the ene as a suffix itself. Okay, you can say limonin, and as well as ol. Okay, ol. Yes, obviously the volatile also, volatiles, volatinoids, terpenoids, phenylpropanoids, these are coming from one basic unit, that is nothing but isoprene. That's the reason for volatiloids and for terpenoids they do have a ol because they are having same formula, same structure. Okay, ol means it is obtained from the isoprene units. Okay, phenylpropanoids, terpenoids, terpenes and volatiloids. Okay, so these are having same suffix. Okay, ol. You know that most of the things, if it is having ol itself, it is an volatile. Yes, obviously the menthol also belongs to volatile example, whereas it also belongs to terpenoids. Clear? Yes. Yes, coming to volatiles, mostly volatiles are having ol, which means alcohol group is there and ketone group is there. Okay, if it is having a alcohol chemical constants, alcohol content chemical constants, it is a carvacrol because carvacrol. Okay, ol. Alcohol is a chief chemical constant here, and on, menthone, ketone is a chemical constant here. That's the reason volatile oil contain two types of suffixes. One is on and ol. Okay, and now when it comes to phenolics, they also have ol and oic acid, but mostly we can choose this one suffix. Most of the phenolics having the oic as a suffix. Okay, you can see resorcinol and caffeic acid. I see. Okay, caffeic acid. Okay, caffeic acid, and obviously next one is coumarins. Coumarins, they have the name itself as the suffix arin or marin. Okay, so coumarin, amblyferone, coumarin, amblyferone. Lastly, lignins. Sometimes they used to pronounce as lignins. Okay, lignins. You can see itself inin or lignins or lignin. Okay, photophytotoxin and sesamin. Photophytotoxin and sesamin. Okay, yes. And now, so I hope, and yes, I have understood that. Now we understood. Okay, so yes, if the question comes from the whether it is a which type of alkaloid, or maybe whether it is alkaloid or maybe glycoside, you are able to identify. But what if in case they're asking about the example of the chemical constants? What if they're asking about the example of the chemical constant? Yes. So now I'm going to unleash the another important part. Okay, another important part. So that's all for today. And now in the next upcoming video, I'm going to discuss about the part 2. Okay, I'm going to discuss about the how we classify the chemical constants names based on the plant name itself. Okay, yes, I hope you understand. We have learned about how to remember type of chemical constants based on their suffix. Yes, suffix is a clue itself, and also here itself the prefix will be the clue. In the part 1, suffix will be the clue, but here itself the prefix will be the clue to identify the which plant is belong to which chemical constants, or sorry, which chemical constants belong to which plant. In the part 1, suffix will be the clue. In the part 2, prefix will be the clue. Don't you believe? Let us start the session, and thereby you will witness it is very easy to learn the pharmacognosy with your GDs and with your Hindu sir. Okay, yes. So now moving to the next one. So this is the example or the most of the chemical constants names. Okay, to understand how the chemical constants names has been assigned based on their genus name. Okay, so these are all examples. Okay, these are all the example of different chemical constants from different plants, but only one theory, but only one clue from the pharmacognosy, especially from me to you, is the prefix will be the clue to remember, to identify whether it is coming from which plant, whether it is belong to which plant. Okay, yes, obviously you can check all the prefixes. Sorry, you can check all the prefixes. Okay, prefix of the plant. Okay, prefix of the, or maybe genus name of the plant and the prefix of the chemical consonants name. Okay, so in chemical consonants divide into two parts. First part will be prefix and second part will be suffix. Suffix parts will defines about whether it is which type of glycoside or maybe it defines about whether it's alkaloid or glycoside, but maybe prefix will denotes about from which plant it is obtaining. Okay, clear? So if you divide into two words, okay, this is a suffix and sorry, this is a prefix and this is suffix. Suffix tells about whether it is alkaloid or glycoside or resin, but whereas prefix tells you about the plant name itself. Prefix directly denotes the plant name itself because the from the genus name itself, from the genus name of the plant name itself, most of the chemical constants are written. Okay, let us have a look. Let us have a look. There we'll understand. Vincristine. Okay, from the vinca they have taken vinca. Okay, istine. I means alkaloid and vinca. Okay, yes. From the cinchona, cinchonidine. From the hyoscyamus niger, hyoscyamine. Okay, I think I know I have highlighted the genus name, and from the genus name only most of the chemical concept names are written. Okay, ginkgo biloba, ginkgolites, curcuma longa from the curcuma, curcumin from the colchicum, colchicine from the eugenia, eugenol. Yes, that's how it goes on. Epitra zeratiana, epidrin. Okay, theobroma coca, theobromine. Okay, and yes, Zymnia sylvestra, zymnimic acid, Zymnia, Nicotiana tobacum, nicotine, and Papaver somniferum, papaverin, aloe, phytostigma, phytostigmin, taxol, coriandrum, digitoxoxanine, distoxoxanine, and Coffea arabica caffeine. Okay, so now we have witnessed genus 90% of the chemical constants names are easy to remember, easy to identify, but because if you know the biological name of the plant, from that just took the genus name and thereby correlate with the example, thereby you'll get the right answer. Okay, and yes, but now you need to comment what are the 10 examples or what are the rest of the example for to nomenclature of the chemical constants. Okay, now you need to mention at least one or two examples of the chemical constants names which are written from the species name. Okay, and yes, now let us have a 10 important MCQs which are related to this concept. So thereby you have a thunder-like impact on this concept. Okay, yes. So let us have a 10 important MCQs, but if you know the answer, okay, please to comment before I explain the right one. First question of this series, especially I hope you're ready. First one, which of the following compounds is correctly matched with its genus? Or maybe they are the correct match. Option A, caffeine from Coffea arabica, and B, epidrin from aloe vera, and C from the curcumin, especially from the vinca rosea, and D from digitalis purpurea. What is the right answer according to its genus or maybe according to the chemical constants and the plant name itself? Okay, now tell me what is the right answer. So epidrin, aloe vera, no. Curcumin from the vinca rosea, no. Aloe from the digitalis purpurea, no, not at all. Just now we came across a topic called, okay, prefix as a clue and suffix as a clue. Clear? So from the prefix itself, you know from which chemical concentration is obtained. Okay, from the prefix, we know that most of the chemical names has been assigned. From the suffix, you can characterize which type of compound it is. Okay, so now the right answer will be undoubtedly option E, because caffeine from the Coffea arabica. From the Coffea arabica only we are getting the caffeine. Okay, but from aloe vera we are getting the aloin, amodin, rein. These are the things. But epidrin is obtained from the Epidra zeratiana. So this is a wrong option. Okay, so from vinca rosea we are getting the vincristine, not curcumin. Curcumin is obtained from the curcuma longa. Okay, and yes, from the digitalis purpurea we are going to get the digitalis, not aloin. Okay, so digitoxin from not aloin. That's the right answer, right? I hope you understand. Next question. Taxol is isolated from. Now again I'm giving you the clue. Prefix is a clue, which means genus name. Which of the following options has a genus name of Taxol? Okay, Taxus brevifolia, Theobroma coca, Hyoscyamus niger, and Digitalis purpurea. Digitalis purpurea. Undoubtedly the option here will be right answer. Taxol, Taxus brevifolia, Taxus baccata from the Taxaceae family. Okay, so Taxol is option A, Taxus brevifolia, Taxus brevifolia. From the Theobroma coca, Theobromine from the Hyoscyamus niger, Hyoscyamin from Digitalis digitoxin. So from the genus name itself, you can answer the right one. Okay, So now, example of the phenolic compound. Example of the phenolic compound. So which of the following has a example? So now the question is suffix as a clue. So till now we had two questions based on prefix. Now question is from the from the prefix. Now the question is from suffix. So which of the following is a phenolic compound? Okay, ine stand for, both ine stand for alkaloid, right? On stand for maybe a volatile oil, right? Because volatile oils are exist in two forms. Okay, volatile oils are exist in two forms. One is a aldehyde form. So example is cinnamaldehyde. Cinnamaldehyde is also a volatile oil. Okay, aldehyde. Okay, and next one is ketone forms also there. Ketone forms. Example is menthone is also a volatile oil. Okay, so it is a volatile compound. It is alkaloid. Alkaloid undoubtedly. Resorcinol, ol stands for phenol. Phenol, ol. Okay, so option A is the right answer. Resorcinol is the right answer. Okay, yes. Now, next question. Example of volatile constants. Now, just now explain which of the following is an example for volatile constant. Okay, volatile oil compound. Okay, yes. So undoubtedly option E, just now we have came across menthone. Menthone is a volatile oil compound. Okay, yes. Nicotine is alkaloid, and as gallic acid and aloin, these are the aloin is also okay. Oleoresin. Next, moving to the next question. Come on. Example of sapoxanine. Yes, sapoxanine. Xanine itself, it is an okay. It is comes under sapoxanines are also known as saponin glycosides because they are a combination of two things, saponin and glycosides. So now tell me which of the following has a saponin glycoside. Okay. So sapoxanine, xanine means glycoside, sapo means saponin because it contains sapoxanine glycoside. Okay. So resorcinol is not at all the option of sapoxanine. Catechin is also not an option, and aloin. Undoubtedly option A, diaxanine will be the right answer. Xanine itself, it is a glycoside. Okay, xanine, yes. So the glycone part or therapeutically active part is known as xanine. Okay, yes. Now, hydrolyzable tannins usually ends with yes. When it comes to the classification, next question is hydrolyzable tannins usually ends with. Okay, the tannins are of two types. One is condensed tannins. Okay, condensed tannins, and next one is hydrolyzable tannins. Okay, so this hydrolyzable tannins gives when they are subjected to hydrolysis, they give us usually they give us two types of compounds. Sorry, they ends up with the acid compounds. Hydrolyzable tannins, when they are subjected to the hydrolysis, they gives 𝙂�プ𝐿𝑎gic acid. Okay, 𝙂𝙗𝑎gic acid, tannic acid, these are all the hydrolyzable tannins. But whereas these condensed tannins, when they are subjected to the hydrolysis, they are condensed form, but they do give a red color compound called plobapines. Do remember, from the condensed tannins we are going to get the red color compound called plobapines, but from the hydrolyzable tannins we are going to get the acid mixtures. Okay, so nothing but hydrolyzable tannins, when they are subjected to hydrolysis, they gives and they finally gives a IC acid or 𝘂𝐻 acid. Okay, 𝙂𝙗𝑎gic acid is an example for the hydrolyzable tannins. Okay, they usually ends with their suffix will be IC acid. Okay, yes. Now, which of the following is an example of alkaloid? So now based on this suffix, you need to tell me which of the following is an alkaloid. Okay, so obviously xanine means glycoside, ol means volatile oils, and catechin means it is a tannin. Okay, chin means tannin. Now undoubtedly option C is the right answer because where I and E stand for alkaloid. Okay, yes. Next question. 𝙂𝙋𝘼𝑗𝑎𝑛 comes from which source? Again same question, right? Now tell me. So 𝙂𝙋𝘼𝑗𝑎𝑛, so from the genus. So now what is the genus of 𝙂𝙋𝘼𝑗𝑎𝑛 or 𝑽nka plant? Obviously, so 𝑽nka is the right answer. From the clove we are going to get the euxinol because Eugenia caryophyllus. Okay, acacia catechu. Okay, catechin, and senna from the senna glycosides. Okay, yes. Obviously, answer D, that is the 𝙂nka is the right answer because 𝙂𝙋𝘼𝑗𝑎𝑛 is obtained from the 𝙂nka. Okay, next question. Aloin is obtained from, now again same prefix based question, from the genus itself. It is obtained from the acacia catechu or Papaver somniferum or 𝙂nka rosea or aloe vera, right? From the aloin, amodin, rene, aloe, amodin. Okay, all these obtained from the, it is an oleoresin obtained from the aloe vera, aloe vera. See, now I think you understood from the genus and from the genus and species, these type of questions we are most getting. Okay, and also from the suffix. See, so if you consider the chemical concept name, divide into two halves. First will be the genus name, so where the prefix will be comes from the genus name, and the suffix will be the nature of chemical concepts. INE, maybe alkaloid. Yeah, like how. Last question. Yes, nicotine is derived from which of the following source? From Nicotiana tabacum, aloe vera, Cinchona legeriana, and Epidra ziradiana. Right? So, what is the right answer? So, undoubtedly, it is obtained from the Nicotiana tabacum because genus will be the name of the chemical ones. Okay, Nicotiana tabacum. So, that is the right answer. So, these are the 10 important MCQs from this topic. Now, I think you had that thunder like impact on this particular prefix and suffix based clues which are involved or which are there in the compound name itself. Okay, yes. So now if you have any doubts, please do comment in the comment section, and yes, please do share this channel to your friends who are preparing for all the pharma competitive examinations. And thank you. Have a great day. Jai Hind.